if your call type is set to a festival call type, you have the option of adding booths to your call. Booths are, there are 3 types of booths that you can add. I'll go ahead and select the Add New Booth to demonstrate this. I'll give this a booth name of Standard Booth, and it's going to be a artist booth. Notice you can choose artist, food, or performer, and other is sort of a catch-all if it doesn't fit into one of those 3. So I'll leave this as an artist booth. Here you'll put the dimensions in feet. If your call is not an American, the imperial system, it will automatically convert this to centimeters and meters as well. So let's go ahead and set up a 12 by 10 by height, we'll say 16 feet. And this is the price of this booth. I'll just say 125 for the price, and the description. Booth description here. And I'll go ahead and add this booth. I'm going to add one more artistic booth. I'm just going to literally call it, well, let's give it a, I'll call this a large booth, and maybe this one's 25 by 25 by 16. This one's going to be $200, and we'll give it a description. Add booth. And then I'm going to add one more booth that's not an artist booth. So we'll add one more, and this is going to be a food truck, let's say. And we'll select this as a food vendor booth. And they each get 10 by 10 by 20. And the price for this is, let's say, $450. And we'll give this a description and add that booth. All right, so I have 3 booths now set up. And the way that booths work is when your user adds an application into your call, they'll select which booth they want. But they don't pay this fee, this booth fee, until after application approval, or essentially when you jury in their applications, then they'll be able to pay this booth fee. So let's go ahead and log in as a user and see what it would look like if they have to select a booth now, because I have these booths added. So we'll come down here to the registered users, and we'll again log in as one of these sample users in my call. So let's go ahead and say add new application. And notice Jane has to fill out the default details that we have required, which we've looked at. And now there's a booth details section. If they hover over this drop down, it will show them the details about each booth. And they can select this, and it's automatically broken down into the respective categories. So I'll go ahead and choose the artistic booth of 12 by 10 by 16. I'll fill out these details here just to show the process of what this looks like when they submit. And we'll say 123.12, and we'll go ahead and submit those entry details. And now she would go ahead and add the attachments. Now I'm going to jump back to Jane's attachment so you can see she's now selected this booth. So she can come in here and see this is the booth that I selected. Here's the descriptions. And she can also change this. If she decides to change her booth before that deadline, she can go edit her application and she can choose a different booth. I'll just update this to a food truck and say update details. And now her booth has automatically been swapped to that new booth type. Once you jury in or out the application, she'll then have the option of paying for that booth. I'll demonstrate how that works. Let's switch back to the admin user, and I'm going to come down here to the submissions. And I'm going to manually jury in that application that Jane has just submitted. Should be down here on page 2 because it's the last one here entered. So there's Jane's application right there, Jane Doe. I can see her booth is right here. So I'm just going to edit this and jury in this application. So we'll manually switch the juried status to juried in, saying we've accepted her application. We'll switch back here and you'll be able to see that's now juried in for her application. And now let's click on Jane's name here and let's go ahead and log in as Jane. And now that I'm logged in as Jane, this booth will be able to be purchased. Now the reason why she's not seeing the option to purchase it right away is because that jury end date has not yet happened. Notice we still have 175 days. So I've got to go manually switch that so you can see how this works really quickly. I'll come up here to my jury settings. And I'm going to switch that jury end date. I'll just backdate it clear back to 2015 and say update. I'll come up here to the submission settings and I'll backdate the submission end date also back to 2015 so we can see that that's definitely passed. And now let's go re-log in here as Jane. So I'll come over here to Jane Doe. We'll log in as her. And now you can see it tells her when she logs in, you have one booth payment due. Please select the make a booth payment. So she would come down here. She can see that this application has that payment due. She selects the make booth payment, and then she would go ahead and it automatically puts in the price for her. She would then pay her credit card, select make payment, and then she's done. She's now completed her application and paid for that booth.